Welcome aboard another edition of the GolfCask flight, where every article is a destination and every story takes us somewhere worth visiting. In this hot summer night edition, we'll start under the blazing summer sun with PGA Master Professional Joe Hallett, who shares practical wisdoms on surviving the heat and explains why the smartest players on the course may be spending more time in the shade than on the range. From there, we'll cross the Atlantic to the rugged links of Ireland with Lorcan O'Connor, fresh off the honeymoon and facing doubts whether his game would survive weeks away from competition. Lorcan discovers a lesson every golfer needs to hear. Trust the work you've already put in. Next, we light up a conversation with Jason Allen, who explores the growing world of boutique cigars and why today's enthusiasts are searching for craftsmanship, character, and story rather than familiar labels. And finally, we'll settle into the rhythm of Whiskey Cigar's rest and relaxation as we visit Lost Whiskey Company House. It's a story about great pours, great friends, and the moment that remind us why we gather around the table in the first place. So settle in, pour something worth sipping, and join us for 4 stories that celebrate the people, places, and passions that bring us together. This is GolfCask Flight. Let's begin. Cheers from Brian Bailie. Let's start with Article 1, The Heat. My God, the Heat Man, by Joe Hallett.
Summer is here, and in some areas, and spring is skipped, and a very pleasant 108 degrees temp abounded in late March. Take PGA West, for example. Albeit, heat is a real factor, and it has real effects on your golf swing and golf game. Let's start with the good effects. You are warmed up quickly. Ha! Your muscles and joints do operate better than in that cold weather scenario, and with less to bundle up in, your full backswing returns. Let's see. There are a few other pluses here, but they are up to you. Take outlasting your opponent on the golf course, for example. We have all heard about staying hydrated, and that's not only obvious, it is essential. Your energy out there is vital, and keeping it available the entire round is much more than pacing yourself. Keeping your exertion at a constant is another good key. Pace yourself like the pros do. You can warm up and practice less, but with more purpose. What I'm talking about, shade. The caddies know it for sure as they lug around a 55 to 65 pound golf bag over 6+ miles for 4 hours. The pros also know it as well, and they have little tricks. Wear a wider brimmed hat, always wait in the shade of a tree. Or, and here's the key, an umbrella/sunbrella. This case was brought to point many years ago by LPGA player Sandra Chankija, who ironically just beat the guys in the 2025 PGA National Assistants Championship. At the LPGA Walmart Championship in Rogers, Arkansas, the forecast for the first round was a high of 104 degrees. Wednesday afternoon, her caddy and her coach, me, suggested that Sandra pick up one of the sunbrellas in the locker room. After much arguing about getting one tomorrow, they would all be gone. My training gears me to this type of official stress. The heat doesn't really affect me. And Sandra's best argument of all, those things make me look Asian. To which we all laugh because she is Asian. Every excuse in the book, but she finally grabbed one. Thursday's round brought a pleasant 67 on the scorecard, and the comment/realization that it is like 20 degrees cooler under that thing. I could have played 27 holes today. The key here is shade is often overlooked, but will be a silent helper on hot days. Now your summer golf is made in the shade.
Let's jump across the pond and visit Ireland. Pasta, pressure, and Portrush. How a Honeymoon Nearly Derailed My Season, by Lorcan O'Connor.
As I sat on the terrace looking out at the vineyard on which myself and my new wife were staying, I thought to myself, isn't there meant to be sun in Italy? It was pouring rain, so much so that the roads had become somewhat impassable. Still though, the weather was worse back home in Sligo, Ireland. The first round of the West of Ireland Championship in County Sligo Golf Club had just kicked off. I could see from some of the videos uploaded online that the rain was just as heavy and the winds were far worse. I had pleaded with my wife that we might come home a few days early from our honeymoon so I could tee it up. I was anxious to play because the tournament was being hosted in my new home course. The first great matrimonial battle of my life. I lost, 1-0 to Claire. It was probably for the best. In the 2 weeks I had spent in Italy, I estimated that I gained around 10 pounds. Perhaps that would help my swing, keep me more grounded in the wind, add a few yards to my drives. However, if that was the case, I'd imagine more professional golfers would be on the red wine and pasta diet. A sense of unease suddenly washed over my body. I hope my game is still there when I get back. It had been over a month since I had swung a club, and when I landed, I was heading straight into a season of serious tournament golf, my first event being 36 holes around Royal Portrush Golf Club in the Ian Bamford Scratch Cup. It had a very strong field made up of some of the best amateur golfers in the country. I had spent all winter training in Sligo. Having grown up playing on a parkland course, the switch to links had been a challenge, but one that I very much enjoyed. I'd become very accustomed to the hard winds, which require a low ball flight, something I thought would help me in this upcoming season, especially in Portrush. Still, I was worried that my time off would prove to be detrimental to my game. More than a few people had said that I was mad to be missing the West of Ireland Championship, taking so much time off right as the season kicked off. I was even told that the club would feel like a snake in my hand. Some kinder people said that my game would come back quick enough and not to worry about it. However, nothing they or anyone said quelled my perturbation. That was only until I expressed these feelings to my new wife that I felt some comfort. Like any good woman born out of the West, my words were not met with my sympathy. Her response was to roll her eyes and say, "You've been playing for more than half your life. If you don't have it by now, I don't know what to say to you." Initially, I thought that was wholly unhelpful, but quite quickly I realized, like most married men eventually do, that my wife was right. We traveled home from Italy and straight into tournament week. It was Masters week. I tried to get some inspiration from watching the pros, but it looked like a totally different sport from what I was going to have to play. Blue skies, tall Georgia pines. Nothing grows above 10 feet on the links courses around the west and north of the country. The forecast of the tournament was fairly terrible. I spent the day before trying to wrangle some sense of feel back into my golf swing by playing with some teammates of mine in Nairn and Portneuf golf links. It was good preparation for the day ahead, hitting 3 irons from 130 yards. Not an easy thing to do when you've had a long break and spent the night before drinking large quantities of Guinness mixed with Sambuca. After the round was done, I drove straight up to Portrush and watched the end of Masters Saturday. The next morning, I looked out my window to see that, unfortunately, the weatherman had got the forecast right. I was set for 36 holes in some of the most changeable weather I had ever experienced. We got everything from sun to rain to hail showers, all while the wind blew fiercely. I left the house extra early so that I could find a shop selling plasters on the way to the course. A nice blister had developed on my hand from the round the day before. My hands had gotten soft in Italy. The only use I had made of them there was to hold a glass or a fork. My warm-up was somewhat delayed as I sat in the car, waiting for the driving rain to pass momentarily so I could get my clubs out. After my warm-up was complete, I stood up on that first tee. For those who do not know the first hole in Portrush, it is a tight tee shot with out of bounds running down both the left and the right side of the fairway. Not exactly easy as Rory McIlroy experienced during the 2019 Open when he put it straight over the white posts on his first shot of the tournament. As I stood there waiting to hit, I remembered the words of my wife. I had been practicing more than half my life for this. If I didn't have it by now, I didn't have it. I hit my tee shot straight down the middle between the 2 bunkers, knocked my wedge shot to half a foot and tapped it in for birdie. That's what I had been worried about. 36 holes later, I finished 1 shot back, level par, in second place after my competitor birdied the last to win. Not a bad start to the season. Maybe I should get married more often.
Let's jump into the GolfCask Cigar Lounge. What Should I Smoke? By Jason Allen.
There's a moment I see all the time. Rounds over. Clubs are put away. Someone pours a solid whiskey. Someone else cuts a cigar. And then it comes. What should I smoke? A few years ago, that answer was easy. You'd point at the wall, name a brand everyone recognized, and the conversation moved on to the back nine. Now, not so much. Working as a rep for Bella Dama Cigars and Casa Molina Cigars, I spend a lot of time in lounges, pro shops, and cigar bars. I see what people reach for, what they put back, and what they ask about. The biggest shift I've seen is simple. People aren't just buying what they recognize anymore. They're asking questions. Where's the wrapper from? Who's the blender? What's the story behind the band? That used to be a collector's conversation. Now it's happening at the counter on a Saturday with guys who just finished 18 holes. Boutique cigars aren't built for mass appeal. They're built for experience. Smaller batches, more intentional blends, a willingness to take risks on a wrapper or a vitola the big houses wouldn't touch because it doesn't move at volume. When I hand someone a Bella Dama or a Casa Molina, I'm not selling them a cigar. I'm handing them something a small team actually cared about, from the farm it came from to the roller who finished it. It reminds me of whiskey. 15 years ago, people ordered the bottle they knew. Today, they want to hear about the mash bill, the barrel, the distillery. They want complexity. They want uniqueness. They want a story attached to what's in the glass. Cigars are going through the exact same shift, just a few years behind. Golfers get it. Golf is a game of intention. Every club pick, every lie, every read on a green, you're choosing. You're not just swinging at the ball. And the good ones know that what comes after the round matters too. The whiskey you pour, the cigar you light, the company you keep. That's all part of the same sensibility. You don't play a thoughtful round and finish it with something careless. From where I stand, this isn't a trend. Trends cycle. This is a shift. The guys coming into the category now, younger, well-traveled, already fluent in craft spirits, they're not interested in smoking what their father smoked just because their father smoked it. They want to discover something. They want to bring it home and tell someone about it. They want the cigar to mean something beyond the smoke. That's what Boutique delivers, every single time. So, when someone finishes their round, pours their whiskey, settles into the chair, and asks me, what should I smoke? I hand them a Boutique cigar. I tell them where it's from. I tell them who made it. And then I let the cigar speak for itself.
And our final stop inside of this flight is Lost Whiskey Company House by Brian Bailie. Lost Whiskey, a day of WCRR at the house that built the story. Some days aren't planned, they're poured. What started as a simple outing turned into something better. We were invited out to the Lost Whiskey House for a day built around one idea: WCRR, whiskey, cigars, rest, and relaxation. No schedule, no pressure. Just a place to settle in and let the day unfold the way it should. Before the first pour, we sat and listened. 2 mash bills, that's the entire foundation. Not a menu trying to impress, just a system built to perform. And within those 2 subtle variations that showed just how much range you can create when you commit to doing something right. It's disciplined, intentional, the kind of approach that doesn't chase attention, it earns it. Then the bottle showed up, and everything made sense. The new 750 milliliter release carries a label that stops you mid-conversation. The Lost American flag, stitched with purpose, isn't just design, it's a tribute. Celebrating America's 250th, it represents more than a milestone. It reflects the same spirit you feel sitting in that house. Independence, craftsmanship, and a quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout. It's bold but grounded. Just like the whiskey inside, and just like the day itself. The food rolled in without ceremony, but landed perfectly. Pork BBQ sausage with that snap, smoked meatballs that disappeared faster than expected, and a steak that reminded everyone that when you keep things simple and do them right, you don't need anything else. But the real story? That happened around the table We enjoyed great camaraderie, the kind you can't manufacture. We made new friends, shared stories, and somewhere along the way, time stopped being important. That's always the giveaway. When no one's looking at their watch, you know you're in the right place. Cigars came out, and the day slowed down even more. That's when WCRR really settled in. The whiskey warmed, the cigars carried, and the conversation deepened. No rush to move on, no reason to, just a steady rhythm of pour, light, laugh, repeat. The kind of day that reminds you why these things belong together in the first place. And that bottle, with the American flag celebrating 250 years, became more than something sitting on the table. It became a marker, a reminder of where we were, who we were with, and what the day meant. Because in the end, you don't remember the schedule or the details. You remember the people, the stories, the feeling, and if a bottle can carry even a piece of that, that's not just whiskey. That's something worth coming back for.
And that's a wrap on this edition of GolfCask Flight. From summer survival on the course, to Irish links, boutique cigars, and the unforgettable pours at Lost Whiskey Company, we hope these stories inspire your next round, your next dram, and your next adventure. Here's the final pour. Life is best enjoyed one story, one friendship, and one shared experience at a time. Spark, sip, swing at GolfCask. Until next flight, cheers, my friend.